Alright, so you already know what Super Smash Bros. Is, one of the biggest gaming franchises in the world. So I'm not going to go over the whole history and mythos of that. I've talked about a number of platform fighters on my channel, specifically anime ones, but what you might not be old enough to remember is a Super Smash Bros. Fan game by the name of Super Smash Flash, which was uploaded onto Newgrounds in August of 2006. And this game was created in just about 4 months and had 28 characters. It had some of your standard Smash characters like Fox, Kirby, and Mario. You had some fan favorite third-party characters like Lloyd Irving and X from Mega Man, some anime characters like Naruto and Inuyasha, and then some downright weird characters like Mr. Incredible and a few original characters. And I'm not gonna lie, back when I was playing this game, I didn't know there were all of these characters because, I'll be honest, Super Smash Flash 1 was not that great of a game. The game had questionable physics, weird hit detection, and the game ran like a slideshow on my crappy computer. But, you know, I love this game all the same, and its character roster really became one of its defining characteristics. Well, starting in 2007, not long after the release of Super Smash Flash 1, the developer McLaw Gaming started working on Super Smash Flash 2. And that 2007 is really apparent by its brawl style flavoring. It's really hard to overstate how much this project's quality has grown over time, because if you look at the first versions of the game, it features pretty questionable gameplay, more reminiscent of the game's predecessor. But now, sort of like my thoughts on the fan game Hyper Dragon Ball Z, Super Smash Flash 2 has basically approached the level as a fan game where I'm comfortable saying in some alternate reality, this could spin as an official game. And I mean, they've already done that with Framemakers, which is an official platform fighter that they released. There's a decent amount of content here. There's standards like Classic Mode, Event Battle, and All-Star Battle, Break the Targets, Home Run Contests, and Race to the Finish, Arena Mode, which has a soccer and a basketball mode reminiscent of something like Tekken Ball or Rocket League. And as of 2025, the beta version of this game has a roster size of nearly 50 characters, which is practically at the size of Smash 4's base roster. It's surprising, I realize, that the number of anime characters hasn't really changed since the early builds more than a decade ago. I mean, the anime characters don't even show up in the intro for the more recent beta builds, that being Goku, Naruto, Ichigo, and most recently, Luffy in 2016. Which, if you're going to include any anime characters, these are reasonable 4 picks. They almost feel like they're grandfathered in. I'd say Smash Flash 2 owes a lot to these characters. A lot of the pixel styling for the early builds were either inspired or directly lifting art from Jump Ultimate Stars as a reference, and this was extremely popular for Newgrounds era animations and games at the time. It's clear that the developers were under pressure to focus more on matching the ethos of Smash's character selection, where now the extended roster has better focus on more Nintendo coded characters like Simon Belmont and Isaac from Golden Sun. At the very least, we know that in the initial plans for the game, most of the anime characters would also have corresponding rivals, so Renji from Bleach, Sasuke and Rock Lee from Naruto, and Vegeta representing Dragon Ball, but apparently due to fan pushback in the Super Smash Flash 2 forum, these anime characters were dropped. Now, the real reason I've jumped back into Super Smash Flash 2 is for the version 1.4 beta update, which includes a much needed revamp to Goku. His art is no longer just a sprite lift of Jump Superstars, and instead one with a lot more custom animations and changes to his attacks to make him a little more fluid in combat. It definitely makes chasing and comboing that much more fun. I wish that more anime platform fighters felt like this game. A lot of them, like the Jump Superstars and Gaigan Battle series, don't have a concept of launch potential, where the amount of damage a character has determines how far they are pushed from an attack. And there's a lot less focus on maneuvering in these games, and instead an emphasis on chaining very flashy special attacks together. With all that said, Super Smash Flash 2 isn't the best optimized. It barely runs at 30 frames per second on my pretty nice computer, and for some reason I can't resize the window outside of making it full screen for the executable version of this game. But at the same time, it's also just a Flash game at its heart. Anyway, definitely check out Super Smash Flash 2, especially while we're waiting for the next Super Smash Bros. Title. There are a bunch of anime related platform fighters I'm just dying to talk about too, so if you're interested in that, let me know. Alright, bye.